Hi, boys and girls. Today I'm going to review for you what you guys were learning before we got out of school. It's a review of line plots. This is lesson 12-6 in your Envisions book and in your packet.
Anna is measuring the length of her crayons. How can she use a ruler to measure to the nearest fourth inch? The distance between each whole number on this ruler is 1 inch. Each blue mark shows 1/4 inch. So each whole inch is divided into 4 1/4 inches. Line up one end of the object with 0. The 10th 1/4 inch mark is closest to the right end of the crayon. So, to the nearest fourth inch, the crayon measures 10/4 inches. What is another way to write 10/4 inches?
So you guys should remember
Select your answer.
10/4 we know is an improper fraction because my numerator 10 is larger than my denominator 4. So if I look at my ruler, don't overthink it. How many total inches do I have? Well, my red crown's covering 0 to 1, 1 to 2, and a little bit more than 2, a little bit past a half. So if I were to rewrite this, it would be 2 and how much more? If you're thinking 2.5, you are correct because it's 2 whole inches and then a half about of another inch. So the correct answer would be 2 2/4.
This is 2 whole inches and 2 1/4 inches. You can write this as 2 2/4 inches. Anna measured her other 9 crayons. She then recorded the data in a line plot.
A line plot is a way to organize data on a number line.
Steps to make a line plot. First, draw a number line. Show a scale based on the data.
So a scale based on the data means that you are going to use numbers that are what your data represents. So if you're measuring crayons, it makes sense to have the smallest number and the largest number that you have. You wouldn't want to have 1 3/4 and up to 10 inches if you don't have any crayons that are past 2 3/4 inches. So when you make your line plot, you have to make sure that it represents the data that you have.
Next, write a title for the line plot. Finally, mark a dot for each data value.
So this is important.
Which crayon length
represents, sorry, let me say that again. Each dot represents how many crowns you have of that length. So my title is telling me I'm looking at the lengths of crowns. You should be able to answer questions from this line plot. How many crowns do you have that have a length of 2 inches? Well, you would look, I have 2 dots. That means I have 2 crowns that are at 2 inches.
Anna have the most of? Explain.
So the question is, which crown length does Anna have the most of? I would look for the most dots, 1, 2, 3, 4. The most length is 2 3/4.
She has the most of the 2 3/4 inch crayon. There are 4 dots above the 2 3/4 inch mark on the number line, more than there are for any other crayon. Now you know how you can make and use line plots.
So if we look at our packet for this week, this is page 149 on your packet. And at the top, it was reviewing what we know about line plots. We have a ruler and it's showing us 1/2 inch marks. So 0 in the middle of 0 and 1 is a 1/2 inch. In the middle of 1 and 2 is a 1/2 inch. So I would have how many 1/2 inches? 3. That would be 3 out of 2. 4 out of 2 would be 2 inches. 5 out of 2 would be 2.5 inches, and then 3 inches. So it says Franco recorded the lengths of other hexagons he measured. Then he made a line plot. The most common lengths were 1.5 inches and 2.5 inches. So if I look at my data, I should be able to see that Hector has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 total hexagons, and he has which have the most. Well, it tells us that 1.5 and 2.5 are the most common because each of those have the same number of hexagons in length, which is 4 for 1.5 inches and 4 for 2.5 inches. So when you're going through your questions, make sure that you're answering them based on your data that you're given. So measure the length of each rectangle to the nearest half inch. So here's a medium, long, and short. So if I were you, I would recommend using a piece of paper maybe and lining it up right here and using a pencil and marking where the line starts and ends. So right here where this rectangle ends, you should see what inch is it closest to. Same thing with long. Draw a line from all the way down and what is it closest to the nearest half inch. And then same thing with the short. Draw a line, what is it closest to? I hope that helps you with your line pots.